Hello everyone, welcome to Life Philosophy Talks. After 70, failing to close these 3 doors could erase your later life happiness. At 70, life enters an entirely new phase. Studies show that the mental and physical well-being of seniors is closely tied to their quality of life, and the key to ensuring happiness in later years lies in adjusting both mindset and lifestyle. True happiness doesn't come from external success, but rather from inner peace and independence. As Zeng Guofan wisely said, "The young cannot withstand easy times, the middle-aged cannot withstand hardship, and the elderly cannot withstand adversity." In youth, we chase achievements and seek adventure, but as we grow older, we realize that inner calm and stability are the most precious assets in later life. There's a saying, "Idle people worry more, lazy people fall ill, but busy people stay happy." As life slows down, finding a new rhythm becomes crucial for seniors. As Jinjiru also famously said, "The young should have a busy heart, the old should have a calm heart." This emphasizes that in old age, tranquility and relaxation are particularly important. Therefore, after 70, learning to close 3 doors is vital. It's not just about physical health. These doors directly impact happiness in later life. Only by closing these doors can you truly enjoy peace and happiness in your golden years. 1. Close the door of dependency. Live without relying on your children. In our community, there is a man in his 70s who, along with his wife, is a retired worker. Together, their monthly pension is less than 4,000 yuan. While daily expenses aren't a problem, they would struggle to handle a major illness. However, this couple is very independent and clear-minded. Unlike others who depend on their children for support, they have chosen to rely on themselves. They firmly believe that if they can handle something themselves, they do it and only turn to their children when absolutely necessary. Every month, they spend half of their pension and save the other half for emergencies. Unlike many of their peers who indulge in playing mahjong or dancing in the park, they have chosen to stay productive. The husband works part-time at a local restaurant, earning 70 yuan a day for 3 hours of work, while his 65-year-old wife works as a cleaner at a nearby massage parlor, making 3,500 yuan a month. When neighbors tell them, "You're too old to keep working like this, take a break," they smile and reply, "We're healthy, and having something to do keeps us active, saves money, and boosts our mood. This way, if something happens later, we won't have to rely entirely on our children." Their self-reliant attitude shows great wisdom. Compared to those who live off their children and endure their moods, this couple has long learned to prepare for their later years. As Japanese artist Hayao Miyazaki said, "Don't rely too much on anyone because dependency becomes a habit. When separation comes, you lose not only that person, but your entire support system." Just like physical independence, emotional independence is crucial in old age. Whether with children or a spouse, the key isn't to please or bend over backward for others, but to live comfortably and independently. Only by doing this can seniors achieve true balance and freedom in their later years. 2. Close the door behind you. Embrace the present. 71-year-old Mr. Wang, 6 months after his wife passed away, slowly emerged from grief and brought a new companion into his life. She was over 10 years younger than him and ran a successful fruit business. They not only lived together but also went into business together. To support her career, Mr. Wang even sold the upstairs apartment he once shared with his son to buy a brand new van. However, this decision caused a stir in the family. Mr. Wang had a son who passed away 13 years ago, leaving behind a young granddaughter. He had been raising her ever since. Now, as she prepared to leave for college, pursuing her own future, she was furious to discover that the house she lived in had been sold. Believing that her grandfather's new partner had ulterior motives, their relationship became strained, and a heated argument ensued. Faced with these changes, Mr. Wang began to deeply reflect. The death of his wife, the early loss of his son, and now the departure of his granddaughter left him feeling lonely. Yet he realized that life must move forward, and dwelling on the past would not bring peace. As former British Prime Minister David Lloyd George once said, "When you close the door behind you, you leave the past behind as well, and only then can you start anew." Selling the house and losing loved ones, Mr. Wang came to understand that clinging to the past brings no peace. While he continued to run the business with his new partner, he began to grasp that happiness in old age is not just about wealth but about appreciating the present. He started focusing more on inner calm, treasuring each simple day. He believed that time would heal his relationship with his granddaughter, and through letting go, he would find peace within himself. At this stage of life, Mr. Wang realized that true happiness comes from closing the door on the past and cherishing the present. Letting go of past struggles is the only way to achieve peace and fulfillment in later life. 3. Close the door to useless socializing. Avoid outside interference. A widely shared story tells of a retired man, Mr. Zhang, who invited relatives and friends to his home for a gathering. What was supposed to be a joyful reunion with old friends turned into a disaster after everyone drank counterfeit alcohol. After retiring, Mr. Zhang had plenty of time and often hosted get-togethers. This time, he and his wife prepared a lavish feast and proudly offered guests a bottle of expensive new wine. But no one anticipated that this fine wine was fake. Several guests with weaker health were soon rushed to the hospital. Mr. Zhang suffered too, not only from his own physical distress but also from the anger and complaints of his guests. To make things worse, he had to pay for their medical expenses, which led to conflicts within his own family. Furious, his son moved him and his wife to a house in the countryside, hoping they would distance themselves from unreliable social circles. This incident was a wake-up call for Mr. Zhang. By the time you reach old age, most friends and relatives are no longer sincerely involved in your life. Outside socializing will not take responsibility for your well-being. As the old saying goes, "When the door is shut, one tends to their own affairs." Closing the door isn't just about cutting off external interference. It's about protecting your inner peace and security. Throughout life, we often open the door of socializing to meet people, gain experiences, and enrich our lives. But in old age, the ideal is to close that door and embrace a simpler, more peaceful existence. When we reflect on life, the loss of a spouse, the busyness of children, and external distractions should no longer weigh us down. After 70, it's essential to learn to close these doors and live for yourself. Close the door behind you and cherish the present. Close the door of dependency and live without relying on your children. Close the door of useless socializing and avoid unnecessary outside interference. Only by doing so can you truly enjoy the freedom and happiness of your later years. That's all for today's sharing, and thank you for watching. If you enjoyed our content, please remember to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you can be the first to get the latest video updates. Thank you for your support.